Hi, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. My name's Mike. This is my YouTube page, Mox News, and this is your Wake and Bake News at 7 p.m. I'm your host, Moxie. Uh, I the clip I want to start the show off tonight with, I don't have on this computer yet. It's going to take just a second to move it over to the computer, and I have to pour a cup of tea still. I didn't get a cup of tea poured. I got 14 clips. Wait, yeah, 14 clips. I just didn't get, again, the last one I didn't get moved over yet because it's called Make a Joyful Noise. And I wanted to start the show with that, but it takes, all this stuff takes time. So even just moving it over to this computer, all those things take time. Make a joyful noise. So I have to go get that because I want to start the show with that. But I'm not going to start the show with that because I need to start it with something else so I can move that stuff over to here. So I'm going to start the show with cell phone tracking video, because that's what's next. Cell phone tracking. Not that they're not cell phone tracking already and they got the license plate readers and everything, but this is one of the things that they're doing with this COVID-19. Never let a good disaster go to waste. Is that they're, again, impeding on our rights and stuff. And one of the things that they're going to do is they're going to make you download an app that tracks you and tells who you've been in contact with. So we'll start there. So I can get this other video and that you need to see.
Well, for weeks, we have noticed that the U.S. and Germany have run parallel in terms of the number of new cases of the coronavirus, but the two countries diverge dramatically when the number of coronavirus deaths are counted. There are around 43,000 confirmed cases of the virus in Germany. 239 people have died. Now, today, the death toll in the United States passed the 1,000 mark. Why are fewer people dying from the virus here? Well, today, one of Germany's leading virologists offered an answer that has almost everything to do with testing, and more testing.
The reason why we have so few deaths in Germany at the moment, compared to the number of infected people, can be sufficiently explained by the fact that we do a lot of laboratory diagnostics in Germany. Estimates that are now coming in over the last few days suggest that we are doing 500,000 PCR tests every week in Germany, spread across the country.
All right, let's take this now to our political correspondent, Anja Köhler. She's here in Berlin doing home office reporting tonight. Good evening to you, Anja. So we just saw a leading virologist talking about the ratio of positive tests to deaths being the explanation for the lower mortality rate in Germany from the virus. But is it all about this statistic? Is it all about the number of tests?
No, Brent, it's not all about the number of tests, but the testing is an important point in Germany's strategy against the virus. Germany has started testing very, very early and massively, and a health expert at a press conference today pointed out that Germany is still able to increase the testing. But there are other factors as well. One important is the number of hospital beds. Germany has more hospital beds than any other country in Europe. And because there were planned surgeries rescheduled, right now at this moment, there are more vacant hospital beds in Germany than the total number of hospital beds in Italy, for example.
Wow.
In German hospitals, there are 28,000 ICUs available, most of them with ventilators, and the health minister has asked the hospitals to double that number. Most of them said, doubling isn't really possible, but they are working hard on increasing the number of ICUs. And the hospitals have set up this week a platform where the hospitals can report their number of available ICUs and their number of COVID-19 patients in order to reallocate patients in case of a shortage.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot going on, and we hope that Germany is preparing for a bigger crisis that never comes. I've got a question about the pandemic and our privacy. Germany's health minister says it will not be possible to relax the restrictions and the lockdown in society if the government does not have access to everyone's cell phone data. Now, that is very controversial. Tell me why that is, and tell me, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't Switzerland already doing that?
I believe Switzerland is doing it, as well as South Korea has been doing it. But it is a very, very sensitive question in Germany. Data privacy and data protection, these are big issues in Germany. And I suppose that the health minister is aware of that fact, and this is why he didn't demand that we do mobile phone tracking, but said that we need a debate in German society. The phone tracking, the mobile phone tracking, is all about finding out who has been in contact with whom in order to find contact persons to an infected person. And South Korea was pretty successful with that. That was part of their strategy against the spread of the virus. But critics of that measure say that Germany has arrived at a different stage of the spread of COVID-19, and that it wouldn't be very useful to use this mobile phone tracking, but it would be better to concentrate on testing and isolating. And anyway, at this point, there wouldn't be a majority in Parliament for the necessary change of law.
Yeah, which is something I think most people would say is a good thing at this point. All right, my colleague Anya Kohler on the story for us tonight here in Berlin. Anya, thank you.
That's a driving video Craig made. Craig has a dash cam video, and this is like rush hour in Seattle, like one of the busiest choke points in Seattle right here. Rush hour, there's nobody out. So where are we at? Right, I got the bong, I got the other videos. The other video that I wanted to play for you was this joyful noise video, and I wanted to play this video because, you know, again, I like this. We have to move beyond these labels, you know, and this is one of these things where it's like community and move beyond the labels moment. And so there's this thing coming up tonight at 8 p.m. and I thought you would want to know about it. Make a joyful noise.
Thank you, Steve. Here's a live look at Seattle, where tonight people here and all over are being urged to show their appreciation for workers on the front lines of the coronavirus outbreak. The Make a Joyful Noise campaign is modeled after scenes like this from Europe, where people openly cheered for healthcare workers and other essential positions. Well, tonight at 8 p.m., organizers want all of us to get outside and create a racket.
Go out on your porch, open your window, bang some pots and pans, sing at the top of your lungs, applaud. It'll be really wonderful and a fun civic-wide thing that we can do that's not dangerous.
People are also encouraged to take video of yourself, then post it to social media with the hashtag #MakeAJoyfulNoise.
So, if anybody's interested and wants to make a sense of community, I don't know. I think we'll open the window and start. I don't want to get my neighbor across the street riled up. She stands out in her yard and yells all day long. But she's been pretty quiet this last couple weeks, so I think maybe she's hiding. We walked by her house the other day, right? And I'm telling you, she stands outside, and so she has like a fenced front yard, right? So it's like the fence is about this tall, so you can't really see what's going on behind the fence. And she stands outside and just yells at the top of her lungs about all this conspiracy stuff about, you know, the FBI and Amazon and the CIA are spying on us, and the UPS drivers are all helping. They're all in on it. And I mean, it just at the top of her lungs, and she swears, and so I don't want to get her too riled up. I guess it'd be a reason for her to be able to go ahead and enjoy yelling. I don't know. But I don't want to get her riled up. I really don't. You know, because I have in the past, and it's hard to shut off once it starts going. And the cops come. The cops almost always come. They're really good about it. You know, she doesn't seem to be threatened by them at all, which is really good. I mean, like she has nice conversations with them and stuff. So that's really good. But I don't want to get her riled up. And the neighbors are terrified of her. I'm like, dude, we've lived here. Like, she's lived here. We've lived here 17 years. She's lived here like 7 years now, you know. But I mean, we saw her, a guy in a wheelchair with a dog. And she's like, you can't be on the side of the street. And he moved the other side of the street. He was terrified of her. I've seen her spray people with her hose over the fence. Hey, you kids, get off my lawn! So she keeps telling people they can't park in this space that's clearly a legal parking place, which is, I don't know. She just, you know, it's sad. I'm just like, glad you're not her. Just recognize that you're glad you're not her. Just yell at your TV like normal people. So we got a couple videos in there already, and we have more. Let's see, what do we have here? Oh, and it is a call-in show, so if you'd like to call, please feel free to call anytime. I just get a shit pack of videos here, and I'm just gonna start running through them, you know, because I don't want to ramble on too much. Because it's strange times and people are on edge, and I'm not trying to add to their aggravation, you know. That was my job before. My job before was to aggravate you. Now my job is to try and keep you calm. Oh, right. I have a PSA by Will Ferrell and Snoop Dogg. Actually, it's just a story about the Snoop Dogg, Will Ferrell PSA. And I think I'm pretty sure they made separate ones. So, but the governor of California is the one who released them. So that's kind of cool.
Elton John, obviously. So why did we just show him singing? He is wanting healthcare workers and first responders on the front lines to feel the love, if you will. So he's planning a concert from home, is what I'm trying to tell you. I know it's Sunday. Melissa, get a load of everybody who's signing on.
Good morning, Robin. This is such a huge deal that Elton John, along with Alicia Keys, Tim McGraw, the Backstreet Boys, are all going to be performing, well, together from their homes using their cell phones and their own audio equipment. So this is an hour-long commercial-free special, and it will benefit Feeding America and the First Responders Children's Foundation. This will all happen this Sunday on Fox and iHeartRadio.
If you're like me, you know, a young millennial, 18 to 40, we love to go out on the town and party. But right now, we gotta stay at home. What's up, guys?
My fellow Californians, real important message. I need y'all to stay in the house for me, man. Real talk. I need everybody to stay in the house. I know it's hard, but we got to stay in the house so we can get this thing, under control. So please do.
So a disco-ready Will Ferrell and some real talk from Snoop Dogg are helping you fight the coronavirus. California Governor Gavin Newsom released the videos from the two celebrities this week. Now, Newsom issued a stay-at-home order last week, and it is likely that the order will remain in place over the next 2 or 3 months. And just to clear it up, in case any of you were unclear, Will Ferrell is 52. So he's not actually a millennial, but I mean, hey, we listen to him, right?
With the gray hair on his temples. What do you mean? I love it, Melissa. Melissa from Melissa's Lemonade Stand.
Not all UPS drivers rat people out. My UPS driver is very cool. I give him cookies. He told me that he had a couple of cookies with his brother right before his brother moved to Hawaii, and he said it was like a psychedelic experience. And he's all like talking about it. So, and he's like the nicest guy. I mean, my UPS driver, I'm telling you, before I ever gave him cookies or anything, he would be driving down the street, and he would stop and get out of the car and give me a hug, just to say hi. He's a very, very nice man, and he parked across the street, cause right in front of the lady's house, the crazy lady, and I don't mean to use that term loosely, and I'm not. He parked in front of her house, and she came out and said, "You cannot park your truck here," right? And it's a very safe spot to park. A big truck is out of the way of traffic, and she came out and she said, "You can't park your truck here," and he said, "I'm just gonna be like 5 minutes." And she said, "You can't park your truck here. I'm calling the police." So she's not afraid of the police. But and that's on the nicest UPS driver you'll ever meet. So, and this is the doggy park. This is not the doggy park part of the park right here, where all the dogs are running around loose. This is not the doggy park. This is the lawless place. I guess, which is now lawless anyways. Sorry. What? What was that? Holy crap. So everybody's upset. Everybody's tense. Just all I'm saying is try and take it easy, and we'll get through it. And this thing, we're kind of all in the same boat. That's the thing. We're all in the same boat now. So, hello, caller.
Calls are recorded for quality assurance purposes.
And other reasoning.
Yeah, well, another day in the saga of the COVID-19 lockdown and the selling of America.
It's self-quarantining day 4 for me.
Yeah, I went to the store. I bought fucking massive amounts of tri-tip that was on sale.
Ooh, nice. How much did you get how much a pound?
Oh, fuck. It was like $2 a pound, dude.
Wow, that's freaking sweet.
Yeah, I know. It's fucking cheap. That's why I buy it. I only buy the meat that's on sale. But I couldn't find any fucking toilet paper. I went to 1, 2, 3 stores. No, I didn't go to the Vons. So I went to 2 stores. They were both out. So I don't know, man. People are just going crazy. They're passing up the meat deals, and they're walking out. They got signs that say, "We reserve the right to, jump on the backs of hoarders who are hoarding water and other items," but the shelves are empty anyways. It's like people are buying, there's no toilet paper. So I'm not worried about it, but I figured, fuck, man, I might as well try to look for some if I'm going to be stuck.
Yeah, no, I understand. It's almost like a novelty to look for it. I don't look for it, but, I kind of walk past that aisle sometimes, and I'm like, ha!
Yeah, it's amazing. I've never seen anything like it, but I mean, if some psychologist somewhere is going to go into the psychology of why people hoard toilet paper above any other item, but I don't really want to go there. I already know the answer. So, it's weird, but I'm just I got plenty of dope. I got cigarettes. I got well water. I'm fine, man. But I just wanted to get kind of set up so I don't run out of anything. I got extra bottles of Tapatio and stuff,
Yeah, I'm like down to my last bottle of Sriracha. I'm like, shit, I gotta buy a bottle of Sriracha.
Yeah, that's
or 5.
That's good. That's better than Tapatio. But
I love the Sriracha.
Yeah, Sriracha is good. A little bit of vinegar, a little bit of sugar.
No vinegar.
What?
I don't think there's any vinegar in it.
I'll bet you there is, dude. Just a little bit. And the sugar wipes out the taste of the vinegar.
Yeah, it's got a lot of sugar in it.
Yeah. So, I mean, I actually modeled my homemade hot sauce after the Sriracha, but that guy uses maybe 2 kinds of chilies, and I use like 5, and I think mine has a better bouquet than his. But I actually learned from him. I think I saw a video one time about how he makes his. He's like a Korean guy or something like that. Isn't that right, Michael?
I don't know, but that sounds right because I mean the Asians that's where when we go to the Asian store. They have like cases of this stuff. I mean, big giant pallets, not just cases, big giant pallets of this stuff right as you enter the store, Like here's your Sriracha, everybody. We know you want it. Don't forget.
Oh, it's good shit, man.
Yeah.
But I found that, because hot sauce, you don't use it that quickly. So I used to make about, 5, 6, 7, what do you call those Screwtop bottles that you use to can vegetables in?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, 5, 6, 7 of those. And then I found that, it's going bad because I can't use it fast enough. And then so I started putting the vinegar in it, and that acts as a preservative.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's good shit. But I'm just looking at society and trying to learn all I can about what's going on. And I think we got fucked, with the so-called bailout bill. It's like it's the largest transfer of wealth I've ever seen,
Yeah, I mean it's really slimy looking, front, back, center, and there's just a ton of shit in there that we have no idea what the fuck it says.
Yeah, but you got all these activists and researchers home and in quarantine now, and you bet they're going to dive into that motherfucking bill. But maybe the apathy level is beyond we're beyond, we're so used to the apathy that nobody's going to raise a stink.
Well, the apathy level is very difficult, but we're, it's really hard right now. Like I said, people are frustrated, people are afraid, people are scared, people are anxious, and a whole bunch of other feelings that I don't even begin to understand. Because I don't have children and I don't really have any family or anything except for Craig and the dogs, So, I don't know if you remember, but I've been telling you guys for a few months, if not years, that there's about to be a giant event that's going to change the course of human history, and this could be that event. This is what I'm saying. This is one of these events where we can reprioritize everything. Because everybody's at home. Everybody's in front of their computer. Everybody can come together in this moment and go, this is what we need to make happen next. Because we're right here all together in the same boat, right at this same moment in time and history like never before.
Right. And I remember before this COVID-19 thing started, you were talking about how we could shut down we were talking about Occupy and how we could shut down our neighborhoods if we wanted to and just shut down the cities and shut down commerce. And now everything is shut down by a worldwide virus. So I'm not afraid of the National Guard or the police or anything like that. I'm exactly the kind of guy that sits in his fucking living room making Molotov cocktails and passing them out to people. And
too much information, dude.
No, I don't give a fuck, man. Fuck the police.
And you know what you really need? If you really want to fuck with the police, what you need is a freaking green laser. One of those little green laser pointers. Yeah. You go and on eBay right now, you can buy them 3 for $5 and go buy dozens of them and pass those out to your neighbors. And then when the cops come your way, you put those little fucking green lasers in their eyes and they're done advancing. They're done. And they're not going to point fucking guns at you because they can't fucking see no more. I'm telling you.
Oh, I see. You're not faking a laser scope on a rifle. You're just fucking with their eyes.
Just saying, hey, we're prepared for you. You want to fuck with us, we'll fuck with you right back. And this fucks with them bad. I mean, you see how bad they talk about it for the pilots and stuff.
Right. I think it's illegal to shoot one out of an airplane, right?
Yeah, it's a federal offense.
Wow. Yeah. So, I remember during the Second Egyptian Revolution when they got rid of Morsi and Sisi came to power. It was the largest gathering of people on earth at that time. I think 33 million people in Egypt came out into the streets, and they were shooting those lasers everywhere.
Fuck yeah. When the Greeks go into the streets, you can see them. The cops, they all line up with their shields and shit, and the fucking just hundreds of lasers just bouncing off the fucking heads of them, man. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, but we're talking about on the street revolution, and it's kind of a mixed bag. How do you change society? Do you change society by staying at home like we are and talking to each other on the computer, or do you change society by going out in the street? And I think the only way I've ever seen it change is by going out in the street. But
this is the new street. You understand? This is the town square.
I hear your word.
We used to have to go out into the town square to be able to try and reach as many people as possible because we couldn't just go on TV. Now we can just go on TV.
I hear what you're saying, but that is not evident as...
It's because they have this, I guess, because their fucking separation thing, their divide and conquer thing is working about as good as they could possibly hope.
Yeah, they couldn't have planned for a better separation, man. But we'll see what happens, because I'm not seeing the stink and the uproar that should be going on about this fucking bill that passed, PBS and the libraries and museums, and what the fuck does that have to do with people losing their jobs? We're talking $6 trillion wasted going into the hands of the 1%, and we get to fucking put applications in to get our $1,200 or $500 or whatever the fuck it is, and so it's a vampire fest. Anybody that doesn't know for sure that Washington D.C. is filled with jackals and snakes, your evidence just passed yesterday, and of course I hear it's got to go before Congress to pass it for certain, but as far as I know, they hammer out the bills in one room, come to an agreement, and then they throw it before Congress, and Congress votes yes. And remember the fucking House of Representatives got $25 million in pay raises. So what the fuck, man? It's like, so here.
Right? How can you not vote for that?
Yeah, really. So, it's corrupt. The whole system is corrupt from top to bottom. And the worst thing that could happen is that we, the little people, start feeding on each other. There's some saying that says character is described by what you do when nobody's looking, So when nobody's looking, I'm not ripping people off. I'm helping people, and I don't need the accolades. I don't need to be recognized for that. It's just the right thing to do. But at the same time, I'm not some fucking spring chicken. Didn't just fall. Mama didn't raise no fool. I didn't just fall off the turnip truck. I know exactly how mean the mean streets are. So, but I'm thinking of us as, even though I don't feel community in my city, I'm thinking of us globally and nationally as a community, and I think that's what you're trying to get to, and so I'm urging everybody to act, they are their brother's keeper, and we got to inform each other, we got to have each other's backs, we lend some assistance to the needy. This is unprecedented, dude, and they're not helping by ripping off. I think everybody in the United States owes $18,000 a piece, including the children, because of this fucking shit they passed yesterday. That's not helping in the middle of a crisis, to sell everyone's future for the next for the rest of their lives. It's fucked up what they did
for the next 5 generations, basically.
Right? Yeah. You're right.
Okay, we go on and go, well, how come we don't have a fucking 21st century infrastructure project yet? Oh, well, we blew all that money on COVID-19.
Right, yeah. So, everybody I know, every activist I know, been bitching about both the IRS and the Federal Reserve, and that's, for the IRS, that's like 80 years old, and all my grandpa just fell right in line with it. Nobody argued that you can't tax income, that it's unconstitutional to tax income. Nobody argues with that. And then more than, 104 years ago, they were at Jekyll Island, all these bankers planning our enslavement. I like that chick. Every time you run that chick, I'm looking at that chick. She's cute. It's fucked, dude. And it's not going to get any better unless we fight. There comes a time in your life where you got to yell at the crazy lady and say, shut the fuck up, go back in your fucking house, and stop fucking with me, or I'll fuck with you, bitch. And that's the kind of
she's already fucked with by whatever ghost it is that are fucking with her, and I don't want to add to her. I don't want her to think somehow that I'm the enemy.
Yeah, well,
I mean, I feel bad for the neighbors because they say it's kind of impossible to go out in the backyard and just enjoy their backyard. So,
What? She fucks with people in their own backyard?
She just stands out in her yard and yells at the top of her lungs. All this conspiracy shit. And it's almost like Tourette's, because she throws in all kinds of fucking curse words and shit. It's very strange.
The UPS driver is in on it too. The government's watching her by the CIA agent they planned as a nice UPS driver, right?
Yeah, well, the Amazon boxes that are white and black, those ones have cameras and microphones. The ones that are brown just have microphones.
Does she eat brownies?
No, I don't know. You know, I can't. I would really love to offer her some, but see, when the Comcast man came here one time, he parked over in front of her house, and she came out to his car, and he said, "Oh, I'm gonna go set up the guys across the street," and he said, and he told us that she told him. She said, "Oh, I don't know what those people do over there, but they sure have a lot of traffic come and go from their house."
Yeah, it's a CIA safe house. They're watching this bitch. No, man. It sounds like she's probably, I mean, this is a guess, but from a street level, she's probably been taking pharmaceutical
Well, she talks a lot about sex trafficking. She talks a lot about the local police being in on the sex trafficking that's going on. You know, what she talks about is scary shit. And I don't know where she gets her information or whatever, but sex trafficking is one of those rabbit holes that you do not ever want to go down, man.
Yeah, well, you're probably right. She's just fighting ghosts in her head. And I think those ghosts are partially chemically induced by not over-the-counter, but doctor-prescribed medicines of some sort. Because she's got a paranoid personality. And so, you know...
she has these people that are like, they seem like they're the right age to be her parents, like maybe 65, 70, something like that. And they come over. I see them drive her around once in a while. She has her own car. She drives once in a while. And I don't mean to talk about my poor neighbor, but me and the dogs were walking past her parents one time, and her dad stopped me and said, "Your dogs can't piss in this yard." And like anyone else who does that to me, I look them right in the eyes and go, you know, so.
Yeah, well, this is what I mean, is that, we can't be fighting each other. I mean, that lady's obviously crazy, so yeah, okay, you can cut her some slack, but I've tried the peaceful route in my life. I had to build an entire wall of giant bamboo and giant bird of paradise in between my neighbor and myself because she wouldn't stop harassing me.
Giant bird of paradise, huh? That sounds pretty cool.
Oh, I live in a jungle, dude. I got fucking just amazing plants, you know.
Right on. Craig's wanting to build a wall of bamboo. You'll have to talk to him about it.
Well, you got to be careful with bamboo because it travels underground, man. It can go 6 feet and then pop up.
Yeah.
And once a year I got giant bamboo in 3 different locations on the property, and in this one location I got it tries to grow into one of the rentals. It grows through the roof, and so you got to watch it, man.
Wow.
When it rains, you can walk away, and then 3 days later, you got an 8-foot brand new stalk that popped up.
Brand new, huh? Wow.
Yeah, brand new. It's amazing.
That sounds amazing.
But I got the giant bamboo that you can make fucking, cool shit out of.
Flutes and stuff.
Say what?
Flutes.
Yeah, I don't know how to make a flute, but, giant bamboo, you can make fucking patio covers.
I had a friend who had when I was in high school, had a bong, and it was like the whole thing fit all over your, fit perfectly over your face. It was like giant. It was bamboo, yeah.
It's beautiful. They got some bamboo in Burbank that's 6 foot in diameter.
What?
I mean, not 6 foot, 6 inches in diameter. It's super giant bamboo. Mine is 3 inches in diameter.
Wow, that's pretty big, man.
Yeah.
I watch a lot of kung fu movies, and I see the bamboo forest, man. I'm just like, I wish I could go to China and see that shit so bad, dude.
Oh yeah, it's so awesome, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I bought each original section for $75 a piece, and it just spreads. It spreads, and I dig it. I get all kinds of shade, and I'm in the I'm in the desert in Southern California. It's basically a desert. So
California is pretty dry, man.
But I've had my share of crazy neighbors, and I tried for 20 years to be peaceful with this neighbor, and I've done the same tactic, pray for those who ruthlessly turn the other cheek, and pray for your enemies and all that bullshit.
I just stay away. If there's a douchey person, I just stay away, because I don't like douchey persons, and I'll look at them funny, and I don't want to look at them funny and start some shit, so I just stay away.
At a certain point, I started yelling back at her, and
that's
she
a big
doesn't
mistake.
fuck with me no more.
Is that right?
Yeah, so sometimes you got to change your tactic.
Well, when I first started talking to this lady, right, she walks a lot. We walk a lot. I was walking, and we were coming towards her. The dogs were kind of walking her direction, and she started like, whoa, like stepping over, like out of the way, and she's like, please keep the dogs back. Keep the dogs back. Dogs are acting crazy today. And I said, yes, the dogs are acting crazy today. That was like the very first thing I said to her.
Yeah, well, I think one of my main objectives in life is not to be tortured by demons in my own head. You got to get rid of those things and become free in your soul and free in your mind. And so
you just got to come into the moment. You don't experience demons in the moment. Go ahead.
Right. Yeah. But, people like that and lots of other kinds, fuck, man. It just seems to be their life path is to be self-tortured like that. And I'm definitely, I've had my own share of self-torture. I mean, but you learn from it, and you learn how to get zen about things, and peaceful rather than tortured. Shit happens in life, and then you get over it, and you try not to make the same mistake. And I've seen so many people on psychotic medicines, and once they start taking them, like the soldiers, they can't get off them unless they're under some kind of supervision. They stop. Yeah. I've seen people have complete breakdowns because they stop taking their anti-anxiety meds or something like that. And my medicine is like salsa and my yearly margarita. That's about how much alcohol I drink. I drink about 1 beer, 1 glass of wine, and 1 margarita per year. It's like I'm just not an alcohol guy, I like my margaritas, but usually that's involving, that's not a part of my daily life, So, but yeah, there's crazy people all over, and the more serious than the crazy neighbors is the societal impacts of what we're going to be seeing in the next few weeks.
I'm a little concerned about people being kind of shut in and more scared as the numbers continue to climb,
Right, yeah, and the crazier you are in your head, the less you're going to be able to handle it. Because Well,
again, this is part of the thing about being in the moment. It's part of the reason people are crazy is because they can't let go of all these horrible things that happen. A lot of people are crazy because they had bad shit happen to them when they were a kid and they never got over it, you know. And the thing that, you know, one of the things that may be important for you to recognize is that, and I mention this again and again, is that life is a never-ending tragedy. It's just this continuous, and if you have lots of people in your life that you love, you probably know that already, because there's always something horrible going on with one of them or another. And so life is this never-ending tragedy, and the most important things that you need to make happen in this never-ending tragedy, again, if you can recognize that, the most important things to make happen aren't to go, oh, I'm in this never-ending tragedy, and get stuck in that, where that's all that you see. The most important thing to do, you know, or, oh, this horrible thing happens here, and I just can't get over it. The most important thing to do, once you recognize that life is a never-ending tragedy, is to keep moving forward. Be in the moment and keep moving forward. Don't get stuck in, oh, this horrible thing happened to me and I've never been able to get over it. So many people are in that. And
I've been there.
Yeah.
I've been there 100 times, you know, but I seem to have rid myself of all my demons at this particular part of my life. So, yeah, I've been there, and so I can relate to people, and we all want to help the people whose, you know, wife got murdered, or, you know, the kid was in a car accident, or their dad died, or whatever. You know, we all want to help those people, or, you know, and so this is why I started studying cluster B psychology, you know, psychopaths and narcissists, is because I met so many of those fucking people, and I wanted to figure out what the fuck happened to my life. And then I realized, oh, it's an untalked about plague, especially in the industrialized countries. England, South Africa, and America have the highest incidence of cluster B predators, and that's what they are, and that's what we got in Washington. And so I'm able to, you know, I've studied thousands of hours on this stuff that nobody knows anything about, and I'm able to take that body of knowledge and relate it to the political situation, and I can pick out, you know, Trump's a narcissist, but he's not a psychopath. Obama's a psychopath. Biden is a sociopath. You know, and after being able to watch their speech, body language, and behavior for a certain amount of time on video, I can even tell you what their quantity is, you know. Oh, this guy's about 50%, this person is 25%, you know. This person is really intelligent, really crooked, and Washington is filled with those motherfuckers. So it's a phenomenon, you know, and my whole motive is just not to let the people get fucked, because we've been fucked. You know, it's like I work. I might be lazy now, and I'm not working out, and you don't necessarily do very many jobs, and I changed my whole lifestyle from being a contractor to a marijuana grower, but doesn't mean I never did the, you know, 7 a.m. to fucking 7 p.m. shit. I mean, I was a working class hero, and you know, and I want to see everybody do good. And we got the resources. We got the richest country in the world, but everybody is fucked because of greed and because of corruption. So that's where I put my focus on, is greed and corruption.
It's because of this fucking programming that the dollar is the most important thing there is. Then you understand, if the dollar is the most important thing there is, then you understand how important the billionaires really are, because they have all the dollars, and the dollars are the most important things there are. So they're incredibly important to us. It's just look. This thing where you worship money is just gonna turn out badly. I mean, look at what's happening, and it all boils down to this thing where it comes down to the cheapest common denominator, where we have to skin every little penny that we can out of every little thing instead of building something that's gonna last somebody for a lifetime. We give them something that's gonna last them for the next 18 months, and that's good. You know what I mean? And it's so short-sighted, and it's building these giant piles of fucking shit everywhere. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's not good, man, because my dad, he was the only breadwinner. My mom was a stay-at-home mom, and we went to Catholic schools. My dad, on one paycheck, could put 5 kids through Catholic schools. And he's the only, and my mom just stayed at home. And that was in the 50s and 60s and 70s, right?
Craig went to Catholic school, too.
And so, on one paycheck, he could do that. Nowadays, if you got 2 people working 2 jobs apiece, they're barely making it. That's it.
And that's with the kids going to public school.
Right, yeah. That's cutting every corner you can possibly cut.
Yeah.
So, and I was aware of this growing up through the 70s. I was working in the 70s. I had 3 jobs in 76. 1976. I was working 3 jobs and playing in the studio. So, and I saw through the 80s, I was getting tougher and tougher, and I saw the people, especially the black people's reaction to Ronald Reagan, and I was completely politically illiterate, and I said, wonder why all these black people hate Ronald Reagan. They were smarter than me, man. So,
well, that's when the police state got supercharged. That was the beginning of the supercharging of the police state.
And the trickle-down bullshit, yeah. So, so the poor people know, and the poor people have always known that the government is corrupt. They're not your friends. The man is not your friend. That smiley-ass politician saying all the right words, he's a smarmy little fucking liar. And now for me, probably not anybody else, but for me, the science of cluster B, recognizing predators and narcissists and psychopaths, really relates to that. And they've always been with us, but we haven't had the science up until the last 20 years to really define it. And so it's almost too late. And look at this COVID bailout, man. It's like, oh, fuck, the largest transfer of wealth. And like you said, people are going to be paying it back. I mean, another couple of generations, we're just going to have a slave class.
Yeah, yeah, that's the facts.
Yeah, I'm not pleased, man. I am not pleased, and I'm not the kind of guy that looks in the short term. I can see how history is going to go.
They didn't have to do this big giant giveaway, all they had to do is go. I'm serious. All they have to do is go. All fucking mortgage payments, rent payments, all payments, like any kind of thing that has to do with the foreclosure of a home or a business or anything like that is put on pause for now.
Italy and Spain did that.
That's all they have to do, and then you give the people a small siphon, whatever it is, $2,000 a month or whatever, and the people, and that was not going to cost $7 trillion, and the people will be able to get through this whatever amount of time it is. They won't have to fucking, be fucked because they won't have to worry that all that money. See, anything they're given right now just goes straight to the bank because they still have to make their car payment. And the insurance company still have to fucking make their house payment. And so it's not like the people are being given anything. What really needs to happen is they need to make a pause in all kind of this bank transaction mortgage bullshit, and then give the people enough money to survive, and then the people will be able to get through this. But and no one's going to lose their business, because the big thing is they have these businesses. They have some of them $1,000 a day rent. So, and downtown is expensive, man.
Yeah, and they didn't halt the wars. They put the military budget is 54%, I think, of the entire budget.
Yeah.
They didn't stop any of that.
Secretary Esper, Secretary of Defense Esper announced today that he's halting all troop movement.
Yeah, but that's troop movement, man.
Yeah.
That's not a budget deal.
Right.
So, apparently making bombs and dropping bombs is more important than the health and safety and welfare of the American people. They put brand new sanctions, additional sanctions on Iran. They really want to crush that fucking country. Gaza's got, I think, 5 or 7 cases so far. And I heard in the West Bank, Israel, the Palestinians in the West Bank were making this makeshift COVID-19 quarantine place out of about 8 tents put together, and the fucking Israelis came in and took it.
Man.
So it's you can't trust the Israelis not to usher in as many deaths as possible from this crisis, because they never let a good crisis go to waste. If they can kill Palestinians, they'll do it, and they just say, "Oh well, it wasn't us; it was the COVID-19. We have no control over that." Then why are you fucking confiscating quarantine tents? And why don't you give these people some relief?
Yeah.
So we're all Gaza now, man. We're all locked in our fucking homes. The only difference is in Gaza they got drones flying over 24/7. You get the sound of that.
Yeah, and we have water, and we have food, and we have everything, and they have nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man. And then all the refugee camps, which would include Syrian refugee camps, Turkish refugee camps. Those people are in close quarters. They're begging for food. They're begging for water. That's where the outbreaks are really going to take a big toll. So, yeah, man, this is not a game. The homeless problem we got right now is a direct result of the bank bailouts that happened in 2008, Michael? Is that when that happened?
I think that it was. I'm not positive that it was in 2008.
Yeah,
Seems like it was after 2008.
Yeah, I remember.
The bank bailouts. Yeah,
gave $700 million. Obama, I think it was $700 million. Obama came in and gave a couple of billion or to the banks, and then people got really upset. And now look at us, 10 years later.
Right.
$7 trillion.
Yeah.
And you got your little $1,200 check, but guess what? Your kids are going to be enslaved. Your grandkids are going to be enslaved. It's fuck city. It's a sci-fi movie coming up, baby. So don't be unkind to your brother and sister, because he's struggling just as much as you.
Well, we're all in the same boat. That's all there is to it,
Yeah, we're fucked.
We'll see how fucked we are coming up. We're not fucked just yet, but and the more we recognize that we are all in the same boat and brothers and sisters and such, the less fucked we will be. So
yeah, well, since we're all stuck in our rooms, we might as well exchange as much truth and true information as we possibly can, because the first step in a revolution is educating the people on who's the bad guy.
Which is what I've been doing for the last 15 years on
Me
YouTube.
too, baby.
Yeah.
Okay, Mike, I'll let you go.
Okay, hey, it's good to hear from you, Mike. I'll talk to you soon. Stay safe.
Okay.
Bye.
Take care.
And I'm going to play a clip for you, and I will be right back.
Also talk about this topic. America's top medical groups are asking doctors and pharmacies to stop ordering and prescribing drugs that were just talked about as a possible treatment for coronavirus. It's making them wonder, are these questionable prescriptions? So chloroquine and hydrochloroquine are commonly used for rheumatoid arthritis. People need it now for lupus. And it's an anti-malaria. Is this the one that's anti-malaria? Well, anyway, clinical trials have started testing these to see, are these usable on coronavirus? But then when the president mentioned it, the American Medical Association says doctors started to prescribe it to themselves or to family members. Like, in some cases, allegedly, big amounts of pills. There are even reports of pharmacies and hospitals being alleged to look like they are stockpiling. Now, officials warn there could be grave consequences if people who right now use these medicines every day for, like, arthritis, and they can't get them. An ER nurse in New York City says that healthcare workers fear that they could soon become patients.
Everybody feels like their lives are in danger. We depend on science and to prevent prevention, protection, preparation, all these kinds of things. We don't feel that they're in place in any of our facilities. I fear that we are going to be in a situation where we're going to have to make decisions about who gets a ventilator and who doesn't, or that we don't have enough staff to take care of everybody. We haven't even hit that level yet. Right now, we're really trying to work on prevention and get us the equipment that we need to care for patients and the equipment that we need to protect ourselves from getting ill or transmitting the virus.
Now, on top of that, she said that they're dealing with the same stresses that everyday folks are too, like how to make sure that your kids are okay. Do you have to online school with them? Childcare, elder care, and simply staying safe. It's a very good point.
All right, I'm back. Yes, I'm back. And there's my beautiful baby. That's my Boo Bear. Let's see. So, I have a few more clips to get to. That's clip number 3, clip number 4. We have 14 clips, so we have that. I think Craig said that he has something he's getting lined up here. Oh, right, that's Craig has a clip too, so that's 15 clips. Hello, caller.
Hey, Mike. It's Craig. I wanted to lead in. I heard you say you got this clip, and this is the one that I want you to play for my friend Julie, who is a rideshare driver. So I'm going to set that up, but she is able to join us on the line after the clip to tell you a little bit more about what's actually going on with it. And I thought that we would try and help her get the word out, especially the rideshare drivers that are here in Seattle that are having such a hard time making a living with no traffic. So give me a minute, and I'm going to push that through so we can set this up. This was something that BBC did with her directly the other day, and they took a few minutes to go around and basically spent the day with her and put this clip together. Now I got to find it here on your system, so bear with me for half a second.
It's right above clip 5, right there.
There it is, right there.
Right above the fucking tiger.
Fucking tiger. All right, here we go. So this is BBC from the other day, and there's not much setup or intro from any sort of a commentator. They just sent a field reporter out. So here we go.
My car payment was due yesterday.
So I'm going to hang up with you, and in a minute I'm going to bring Julie on so she can talk to you.
But these are the realities that we as drivers are facing. I don't even know what the roads are going to look like today. I haven't left my garage yet. About to do that. So business is slow, it's super slow right now. It's hard to decide what to do, what kind of choices you want to make as to where you want to go and drive. There are tens of thousands of drivers out here whose incomes have vanished overnight. Drivers are hungry everywhere. We're stuck in that gig economy loop where we have no safety nets. We've been out here since day one. Day one, when it hit many of us at the airport. Unprotected, unknown. Those are hard things to think about. Drivers are having a hard time getting hold of Lysol, disinfecting wipes, gloves if you're lucky, and hand sanitizers. Right now, these products are gold. So you want to make sure and wipe down the doors really well, the handles, any of the surfaces that the passengers may touch. Just picked up Nicole at Kaiser Permanente.
I work at a hospital around the corner and we're not allowing visitors. It looks like a ghost town out even though it's a Monday. And yeah, I worry if Lyft drivers are gonna stop driving us or buses are gonna stop, or I don't have a car, so that would be hard for me to get to work. But I'm an essential employee, so I have to report to work and get exposed to the virus. My patients are all sick with the virus. A lot of uncertainty going into the future.
You know, most of us are out here because we don't have any other options. I come out here every day, and the fear of getting the virus is not about really getting the sickness. It's about not being able to drive for 14 days. Because in this world, in this business, having 2 days off in a row is kind of a luxury, let alone 14. So a lot of the drivers, you know, they're just driving until they can't.
Dynamite.
Nice. All right, so we're on the phone right now with Julie, and she was in that last clip that you heard, or you just saw from the BBC. And Julie said that you filmed that all yourself, huh?
I did. The BBC didn't want to come out and chance the, infection rate with flights and whatnot, so they asked me to film what I felt was important.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty. You did a good job of filming, in my opinion.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. So, how did the BBC got in touch with you? You said, huh?
Yeah. So I am a part of Seattle Rideshare Drivers Association. I'm a secretary, and so Ahmed Moomin, who is the executive director, had done a piece with KUOW. And so they got in contact to me through there.
Right on. It seems like they got a hold of the right person. And what was primarily what was it they primarily want to talk about? The coronavirus thing, or something more specific?
And how it's affecting work. What are we seeing on the streets? Are people wearing masks? What about the shelves in the grocery store? How are drivers staying safe? And that was like one of the main issues, is how drivers are staying safe, with the lack of rides, everything being shut down, and the hoarding. We couldn't get the products that we needed. Masks, you just couldn't find them. And they weren't suggested in the beginning at first because they didn't know it was airborne. Mm-hmm. But the hand sanitizers, the Lysol wipes, the Clorox wipes, the Lysol sprays, we just couldn't find them. Store after store, they were empty. Drivers couldn't find them. So.
And you are what kind of ride share? Do you want to say what kind of ride share you work for?
Well, I drive for Uber and Lyft.
Okay.
Both. I'm a very high rated driver. I'm a very well-known driver as well in the Seattle area.
Excellent.
And I typically drive SeaTac, but I've been staying away for the last little bit.
Yeah. Well, and has it provided a pretty good have you seen like a boost in the economy then, like that they keep talking about forever now? I mean, before this thing happened, as a driver and meeting lots of people, have you seen the economy picking up? Would you say?
You know, that is a hard one for me to answer because prior to being a rideshare driver, I was on Washington State disability.
Mm.
And before that, I was a housewife or a homemaker. So it did give me the ability to leave those situations. And so in good times, it has some very good times, but it's definitely a very feast or famine.
Yeah. I heard it can be pretty hard trying to make a living doing the Uber for sure.
Yeah. A lot of drivers are turning to delivery right now, and they're going to more like the Uber Eats and Instacart type stuff to try and help.
Is Uber is the ride sharing considered essential job for
Yes.
us? Yeah.
Yes.
Cool.
Because we're still doing people like the video showed. I pulled myself off on Friday, and I kind of started not to feel good. So I went in. I finally got myself to the hospital, and I'm diagnosed with pneumonia. I do not have COVID, as we know of yet. I did get tested for it.
They did?
They did test me, but it's too soon for results.
Mm. Yeah, well, that's good. At least you got tested, so you know if you need to be looked at a lot closer.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So, what is your? I mean, I guess you've known Craig a long time, huh?
I have known Craig since I was 15 years old.
So you knew Craig in high school then?
I did. Yes, I met him through Bob.
Bob is a crazy guy.
All right.
Bob is a very crazy guy. Craig was very GQ back in the day, huh?
You're gonna make me laugh. Oh my gosh, those guys, you know, they're my oldest friends, and they're like, I don't have a lot of family out here because they've, passed, but those guys, they'll forever be my family.
Right on. Well, it looked like, Craig always talks about those times as, I mean, he talks about getting bullied in high school, but he talks a lot about having fun, and you're one of the people he brings up all the time, so.
I remember being on the back of his motorcycle coming home from Wild Waves one year. He drove a lot fast, really fast.
Yeah, he's gotten over that. When you're a kid, you drive fast. He said he drove like a crazy person when he was a kid. Me too. I drove like I was already dead when I was a kid. So, you know what I mean? Like you can't kill me. I'm already dead. So let's go.
You can't do that on the streets here anymore. There's so much traffic. You can't drive like when we were kids.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah, it's so many more people now than when we were kids.
Right?
Weird. Well, I appreciate you calling, and I think you did a great job on the clip, and I think you should, if you do a follow-up or something, you should let us know for sure. And, yeah, go ahead.
I'm definitely keeping in touch with them because they want to follow us through how it's gone and what's going on. And, the biggest thing about that clip that I do want to say is that clip isn't about me. That clip represents all the drivers that are struggling out here in Seattle. And that's why I made sure in my clip to emphasize it's we, not me, not I. But we're all in this together, and we're all facing this struggle hard.
Yeah, we're all in the same boat now, that's for sure. You see people like Prince Charles and stuff like that, so we're all in the same boat, and these invisible borders don't seem to protect anyone, so we need to get over all these little petty things and all these bullshit labels and recognize that it's going to take all of us to get out of this, and we're going to have to work together And that's what we should be doing anyways, really, from the start.
Right?
Yeah.
Definitely.
So again, take good care, okay? Because we want you to get better soon, and I appreciate you calling, and we look forward to talking to you again anytime you feel like it.
All right, sounds good. You have a great night and stay safe too.
Okay, you too, Julie. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And that's Julie, one of Craig's oldest friends from high school, and she was on the BBC today, and Craig was like, oh man, we got to get Julie on the show tonight. So I was like, no problem, man. I think that's a good plan. Let's do it. So I'm glad she was able to make it, and I hope she's feeling much, much better very, very soon. So let's see. I'm not sure. It sounds like something might be going on, but I think we'll go ahead and play another clip here. I have a clip of let's see, where was that Julie clip? Right there. I have a clip of fucking tiger. Because I love the fucking tiger. I don't see a fucking tiger. Ah, fucking tiger! One of these days I'm going to get another tiger clip. And I check that one off the list. Let's see, what else did I have? I had a couple other clips right here that were like little clips that I wanted to share with you guys. Oh, I think this is probably something you want to see today. The person who is the accused shooter in the Christchurch massacre has changed his plea to guilty today, and so there won't be any need for a trial, which I find very, very interesting.
The man accused of killing dozens of people at 2 mosques in New Zealand last year initially pleaded not guilty to the charges against him. But now, in a surprise move, he's changed that plea to guilty. On Thursday, the suspect appeared in court via a video link to plead guilty to 92 charges, including 51 counts of murder, 40 counts of attempted murder, and 1 count of committing a terrorist act. Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern said in a statement the suspect's guilty plea would provide some relief to the many people whose lives were shattered after the 2019 shooting. The unexpected plea change eliminates the need for a trial scheduled for June. Instead, the court will move straight to sentencing. He faces a lifetime behind bars. For Newsy, I'm Catherine Beek.
Don't you guys find that interesting? I find that very, very interesting. Okay, so this is Craig driving on his way into Seattle. I believe this is yesterday. And he just wanted you to see, this is like rush hour traffic now in Seattle, which Seattle is like some of the worst rush hour traffic in the country. As you can see, not at the moment. So he worked hard to get that put together yesterday, because his dash cam takes like only like 5-minute clips, and so to get it all together you have to like stitch it all together, and then you got to render it so it's all one piece, and then you can put it on the wherever you want to put it. So he was working on that late last night. Let's see. Okay, so the Pentagon I was mentioning earlier has halted all troop movement, according to this story, which I'm not sure exactly what that means, but it sounds like kind of like there's a military shelter-in-place order going on. So I thought you guys would want to see that.
Defense Secretary Mark Esper ordered a stop to all U.S. troop movements for 60 days because of the coronavirus pandemic. The Pentagon says the stop order will impact 90,000 service members and their families, as well as civilian personnel. The Pentagon reports that hundreds of service members have tested positive for COVID-19. Under the freeze, troops who were scheduled to return stateside will now have to wait. The same goes for U.S. military personnel who were scheduled to deploy overseas. There are a few exceptions to the order. Navy ships will still be allowed to deploy if they're going to be in transit for at least 14 days. People seeking medical treatment, as well as medical providers, will also be allowed to travel. The order will also not impact the ongoing drawdown of U.S. troops currently stationed in Afghanistan. For Newsy, I'm Catherine Beek.
3 sailors aboard the aircraft carrier USS Theodore Roosevelt have tested positive for the coronavirus. Acting Navy Secretary Thomas Modly said Tuesday the affected sailors were airlifted from the ship and flown to a U.S. medical facility in the Pacific region. Crew members who had contact with them are under quarantine. Modly said this is the first time U.S. sailors have tested positive for the virus while aboard a ship deployed at sea. According to Chief of Naval Operations Admiral Michael Gilday, the Navy isn't sure if those sailors caught the virus during a recent stop in Vietnam because aircraft have been flying to and off of the ship. He said the Navy has canceled future port visits for all ships currently at sea. They'll only be allowed to make stops for maintenance or resupply. For Newsy, I'm Johanna Grenaway.
That's my Boo Bear. He's laying in the water. You can't see him. But there's a beautiful day at the doggy park right there. All right. So, let's see. And I have another story here about what was it I was saying? Oh, about the EU countries closing their borders. So I think we should watch that while I heat up the bong so we can all have a big puff together. So let's do that.
A direct and very public shame on you, Europe. That was delivered today by the European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen before the European Parliament in Brussels. She criticized EU member countries for casting solidarity overboard as soon as the outbreak hit Europe.
When Europe really needed an all-for-one spirit, too many initially gave an only-for-me response. And when Europe really needed to prove that this is not only a fair weather union, too many initially refused to share their umbrella. But it was not long before some felt the consequences of their own uncoordinated action. A successful European response can only be coordinated if our internal market and our Schengen area work the way it should. A crisis without borders cannot be resolved by putting barriers between.
Let's go to Georg Mattes. He's following developments for us in Brussels. Georg, I mean, we had a pretty strong condemnation there today. Where does Ursula von der Leyen, where does she see this lack of solidarity now?
Let me give you 2 examples, Brent. One is the export of those essential masks, but also protective gear for doctors. And that export did not take place. Italy, for instance, needed those masks, and they did not get them from a fellow EU member state, but in the end, they got them from China. Another example is the closure of national borders at a time of crisis, creating traffic jams, risking the frequent flow of goods in the internal market. And that is why Ursula von der Leyen has said, let's coordinate all of this, let's make a European stockpile, let's also make sure we close the external borders so that internal borders can remain open.
Okay, those are her suggestions. What came out of the video conference today? Were there any solutions that were offered?
it looks like we're having a row here over the financial means to help in the corona crisis. In other words, help the economy. There's a draft conclusion of this virtual summit, and in it says the European Stability Mechanism should be used, and finance ministers should look into that. There is, however, no mentioning of so-called corona bonds or mutual bonds in the EU, because behind the scenes already the Netherlands but also Germany said they do not want these bonds. They still believe that nations in Europe can get debt from the debt market, so they are still stable, and so those means are not necessary yet. And the Italian Prime Minister in the meantime has already said he has rejected those draft conclusions, and he has given the EU 10 days to come up with an adequate plan how to financially secure the future of Europe.
Yeah, it seems like we're going from one crisis to the next at the moment. Georg Mattes on the Story Force in Brussels. Georg, thank you.
All right. Craig fixed the driving video so that it doesn't restart every time now. So we'll get past this this one spot. Because he said it goes for quite some time. That's why it took him so long to stitch together all the 5-minute pieces. So we'll keep that one running for a minute. And the bong is just getting to the right temperature momentarily here. If anyone would like to join me in a lovely puff of marijuana, I think that would just be excellent. Most excellent. And I hope everybody's doing well and people aren't too afraid. You know, it's understandable that you'd be afraid. Just don't be too afraid. Because we're going to get through it. We always do, like I keep saying. Dang! Ah! Woo! Nice one. Woo! Nice one. Woo! All right, so let's see, where were we? Ah, yes, we were playing movie clips of lovely movies for everyone to enjoy. Now, we should try and do movie clips one night. I'm just afraid. I just don't want to get the live stream shut down, and then we won't be able to do a live stream until who knows when. You know, so I'm trying just to be able to keep doing this, be able to touch bases with people, and you know, I want to be this regular thing, so that we can all come out and touch bases. If you guys think I'm doing it too much, because I don't want to, I'm not trying to waste your time. You know, I'm not trying to sit here and ramble on about things. That's why I'm trying to move through the clips, you know, as quickly as I can. You know, and the phone lines are always open. So. And it's about you guys. It's always been about you guys. And I will find better clips. I mean, I think the clips tonight are pretty good. You know, we got the joyful noise clip and the Christchurch clip and the Pentagon troop movement clip. You know, I thought those are pretty good. And the fucking tiger clip. And of course, you guys know the most important advice I can give you is that you're not eating enough fucking marijuana. You need to eat more marijuana. Is this thing on? Can you people hear me? You need to eat more marijuana.
Sometimes life can be a little overwhelming. Sometimes the weight of the world can be too much to bear. Sometimes you need to stop worrying and take a deep breath. Sometimes you need cannabis. Introducing Brightside, high-quality cannabis delivered right to your door. Brightside offers an extensive menu of strains and products to meet your needs. Choose the experience you want, and we'll send you the dankest herb, the real sticky icky, some top-shelf marijuana. If you like what we send you, keep the whole jar. We'll even include some nugs for you to blaze. As part of Discovery, you'll get to try new strains and products. Side effects may include euphoria, increased appetite, uncontrollable giggles, elevated sensitivity to musical dopeness, and reduced anxiety. Tetrahydrocannabinol may also induce feelings of existential well-being and relentless optimism. With a Brightside subscription, you can get it once a month, once a week, or whenever you want, all at a price you'll like. And yes, this is a real company.
Do you know who I am?
You're the wizard.
Ask your doctor if cannabis is right for you. It probably is. Keep it Brightside.
That is a good question. Where is Iowa tonight? That is a very good question. Iowa is often one of the first in here. And the last to leave, I might add. Again, the fucking YouTube cunts, you know, the people who run YouTube are just horrible, okay? We have 118,000 subscribers on this channel, okay? Up until 2 years ago, every single day, regardless if I posted videos or not, there was 50 new subscribers. Now there's like 25 minus negative subscribers every day. We still have 118,000 subscribers, and there's no way that they're being notified that a live broadcast is being done on one of their subscriptions. And we can all see that and they're all fucking at home with nowhere to go, bored, and they don't ever see Mox News. Look, hey, Mox News. They never see it because the people at YouTube are cunts. The people who manage YouTube are cunts. What's up, caller?
Michael, this is Steve McClanahan. Okay? Michael, I've been self-quarantining ever since last night. I bought a goddamn shitload of fucking hand sanitizer. Michael, I'm drunk as fuck. I found the cure
You can't drink that. You can't drink that stuff. It'll make you go.
You just drink it.
No, it makes you go. It'll make you go blind, Steve. Don't drink that stuff.
Oh my God, Michael! I have been drinking motherfucking hand sanitizer since fucking goddamn yesterday. I filled up the fucking bathtub full of hand sanitizer. I'm currently in the bathtub, taking a bath, full hand sanitizer. I got a straw in the fucking goddamn bathtub. I'm telling you, I got the cure. I'm not getting this shit. These goddamn people wanting to take social justice fucking attitude to try to beat me up with the goddamn fucking coronavirus. Fucking take my goddamn social distancing fucking stick. Sons of fucking bitches. Oh my God, Michael, I'm fucking fucked up tonight, Michael. Jesus Christ, self-quarantine sucks, Michael. I'm depressed. But I'm not getting the goddamn virus. Whether you like it or not, Michael.
Well, we're
Look, I tell you what,
glad to hear that.
You get through a few of these fucking bottles, hand sanitizer. It's not so bad, dude. It's not so bad, bro. It's kind of slimy, but it's great. Now I'm fucking living it up, drinking hand sanitizer. I was like fucking shopping on Amazon. They got a great deal on fish tank cleaner. I'm thinking about trying it.
Oh, good plan. Yeah, you should do that, Steve.
I'm doing it. We're doing it live, whether you like it or not.
Oh, yeah, let's do it live. Let's do it live, Steve. That's what we'll do, Steve. We'll do it live. You go ahead and you order that fish tank cleaner, and then when you get it, you call us up, and we'll do it live, okay?
Okay, Michael. I just wanted to sing a quick song to you and all the goddamn fucking Moxley's listeners. I just want to tell them I love you, man. I love you, motherfuckers. I love you, goddamn motherfucking Moxley's digits. Okay, here we go, Michael. All right. Shit. Okay. Kiss me hard before you go. Summertime sadness. I just wanted you to know that, baby, you're the best. I've got that summertime sadness. I've got that summertime sadness. I'm not getting the motherfucking virus. You can fuck yourself. Kiss me hard before you go. Everyone sing it with me. Summertime sadness. That's right. That sounds good. I just wanted you to know that Box News is the best. I'm not getting the motherfucking virus. You can kiss my ass. Alright, Michael, I gotta go. I'm sorry, I got drunk. I'm so drunk and depressed right now, Michael. I just did a drink.
Don't drink hand sanitizer.
I'm drinking the goddamn hand sanitizer, Michael.
Hand sanitizer. Not good.
I'm doing it. We're doing it live, whether you like it or not. I'm keeping the goddamn.
Make you go blind, and you won't be able to dial the buttons anymore, Steve.
What?
Gonna make you go blind and deaf.
Oh my God! I've been already went blind a long time ago. They fucking told you not to be fucking play with your little thingy down there. You go blind, fucking little blind, fucking already blind. So I'm fucked either way. All right, Michael, I gotta go.
Bye.
I gotta go fucking wallow away in my quarantine misery, depression, and fucking goddamn dog shit and fucking bullshit every fucking where, Michael. I don't even have a dog. But I gotta go.
Okay.
Shout out to all the dogs out there in the world. All right, Michael, I have to get off the fucking line. Quit trying to hold me on the fucking line, Michael. I am got hand sanitizer to drink right now currently because I'm not getting the fucking virus, Michael. Yeah. Okay.
Right. Bye. He hung up. And that's Steve McClanahan, apparently in a tub full of hand sanitizer. Don't drink the hand sanitizer. Do not drink the hand sanitizer. It's very bad for you. So you know. Let's see. So we have another clip here from, let's see. Well, we have a clip from, from the Newsy source. I've been watching the Israeli news the last couple of days but it's such blatant propaganda. I'm just not sure.
The world is a different place since Aurora Frontier had their last day of school March 12th.
This has kind of thrown a little bit of a curveball.
As entire communities quarantine at home, Teachers and staff wanted to show they haven't forgotten about their students.
We are doing a car parade of teachers and staff at Aurora Frontier just to get out in our neighborhoods in a safe way and encourage our students and our families. We thought it would be a really great way to bring our community together.
For more than an hour, a long line of cars snaked through the neighborhood surrounding the school, sharing a wave and a smile with families standing in front of their homes.
Even though we are separated by distance right now, that we're still a community and we are still there to support them.
Shining a small light during a time of nervousness and confusion.
It gives a little bit of hope.
Aurora Frontier says they, along with the rest of the district, plan on switching to remote learning March 31st. Ivan Rodriguez, Denver 7.
So I'm pretty sure that was twins that were waving from the driveway, in case anybody's wondering. I like that. I like this community thing. I like... It just feels like, again, people are beginning to realize that it's these walls that have been erected to keep us separate and supposedly safe. Because these are the reasons that you put the walls up. It's to keep you and yours safe. You have you and yours, so you put the walls up to keep you safe. Keep you and yours safe. And now it shows that that doesn't work. Okay, so there's more to it. And we have to understand that so that we can reprioritize everything. You guys understand? Again, I've been telling you a long, long time that something big was about to happen that's going to change the course of human history. You guys know this. You guys know I talk about this all the time. And you know, I'm not saying that this is it, but it could be. I mean, we can see, you know, what really matters. You know, in times like this, it becomes really apparent what really matters, and we can reprioritize everything, so that, you know, we try to move forward towards a brighter future for everyone. You know, try to heal the planet and make it this paradise that it's meant to be. Try and make it, you know, one of the callers a couple days ago was saying something about feeling guilty because he's like sleeping too much or something, and I was saying, you know, number one, sleeping is very good for healing. So if you're like, you know, upset, or if you're, you know, most people in America are overworked and don't get enough sleep. So if you get the chance now to take a little bit of extra naps, that's fantastic. And again, I think it's kind of like a top of the food chain kind of thing to do, right? Because you see the bunnies, you know, the bunnies aren't fucking taking naps. You know, you see the birds really aren't taking naps. They're kind of fucking all over, especially the little birds. But you see the lions, right? You see the lions in the jungle, and the lions aren't running around going, we gotta find this, we gotta find that, we gotta pay our rent this month, The lions are just lying around going, you hungry, dude? No, I'm good right now. All right, I'm gonna chill for a moment, for a little while longer. So don't feel bad if you're not being overly productive. I'm just saying that if you want to be productive, everybody has one of these to-do lists that they wish they could, you know, be making happen, that they wish they had a little bit of extra time, that they could do this thing that they really wish they could be doing. Well, now there's this extra time, and it's a good time to try and do what it is you want to do. You know, I mean, why the hell not? It's the end of the world. Might as well do what you want to do, right? That's all I'm saying. Do what you want. chill, find the silver lining, feel good about something. Because I think that's probably one of the most beneficial things that you could possibly be making happen in your life, is to feel good at this moment when people are terrified and scared and anxious and all full of anxiety. So if you can keep a smile on your face and find, and see the blue sky, and because all the cars aren't everywhere on the road, you can hear the birds, take a minute, take a breath, remember to breathe. I told you this the other day. Remember to breathe. It's very important. Especially if you're tense and all that. You might be like, and it's really hard to think complete thoughts when you breathe like that. You want to remember to breathe. Don't forget to breathe. So, I am going to play this clip about Louisiana.
Well, Wednesday was the nation's deadliest day since the coronavirus outbreak began. Sorry, we're having some technical glitches here, but more than 200 deaths are reported. The spike brought the total number to 942, most of those in New York. Bryn Gingras reports that some of the hospital have lines still, people waiting to get tested. There's a look at the numbers.
I can tell you with definite certainty that every morning this line gets longer at this same time. I mean, it's just exponentially growing every day, and it's getting started even earlier in the morning. I mean, this is what is happening at this particular hospital. Just yesterday, I was watching a woman with a walker and her two family members, presumably, trying to hobble her over to this line. These people are waiting hours, not feeling well themselves, just to get some sort of care.
Brent, thanks. Governor Andrew Cuomo says that hospitalization rates did go down at least this week, and he attributes that to people following social distancing rules. Louisiana, though, has now the fastest growth rate of coronavirus cases in the world, says the university researchers there. Let me take you to Diane Gallagher, who is following the latest from her home studio. It's in Atlanta, but this makes me think of the dates when so many people would have been in places like New Orleans. Mardi Gras, good morning.
Yeah, and I mean, look, Robin, that is something that the governor has sort of developed a theory about. Part of that is because he notes that the very first case in the state of Louisiana, the first person to test positive did so 13 days after Fat Tuesday, Robin. And so that's within that incubation period, that 2-week period that we've been looking at, and it happened in the New Orleans area. Now, look, we got to point out here that is just a theory right now, but the governor noted that people were there from all over the world, all over the country. They weren't exactly practicing social distancing in New Orleans during Mardi Gras, and so it's something that they have thought about. However, right now, I can tell you that Governor Edwards is talking about moving forward because they have much bigger issues on the table right now than kind of figuring out when this started spreading in the area. They are looking at severe shortages. We have watched ourselves. We've been following Louisiana for the past week or so. Robin, we'll get another update on numbers at noon Eastern today from Louisiana. I'm sorry, at 1 Eastern today from Louisiana. They've been updating once a day. But I watched those numbers shoot up by 1,000 people who have been tested positive in just 48 hours. Watching the numbers climb in Louisiana has been just stunning, really, at the quick rate of this for a state that was sort of looking like a lot of the other states. It didn't look like a hot spot until it did.
And it makes you concerned about who else could fall into that same pattern. Hospital stay prepared for it.
So the state is sort of going with what they can right now. Something that we're seeing with so many other of the are dealing with an influx of patients right now. According to the governor, they need around at least 1,000 more ventilators in just the New Orleans area alone. Now, Ochsner Health, which is the largest health system in Louisiana, yesterday said that 80% of the ventilators in their ICUs are in use right now. And to kind of give you some frame of reference there, Robin, on a typical day, 30% of those ventilators in ICUs are in use. So you see the uptick there at this point. In New Orleans, in Louisiana, they need the same thing as everybody else. More of these PPEs, they need the ventilators, and really they need the staffing and the manpower, because this is an around-the-clock pandemic that they're dealing with people coming in. New Orleans specifically is dealing with in the And so they're watching these areas where people who have these comorbidity conditions are all living together, and the virus is spreading in those small living areas as well. So this is something else in Louisiana that they're paying attention to. They're trying to stop the spread in those areas. I can tell you that they've asked for additional beds in ICUs. Ochsner Health said that they requested 2 weeks ago 200 more beds. They're starting to get them now. And as they get those in, they are moving some of the ICU and some of the other patients who are not virus related to different floors, to different hospitals, orthopedics hospitals, specialty hospitals, so they can dedicate more space and keep people away from those who do have the virus to try and prevent that spread. Again, Robin, ventilators, PPEs, staffing, all of this is something that Louisiana is facing right now, making sure that they don't end up with a shortage. They're trying to get ahead of the game. But if they don't get some of these supplies, the governor says that the hospital could exceed capacity in the New Orleans area by the first week of April. That is right around the corner.
And they're even having conversations about where could people go who have COVID-19, who are patients, would we need to use the convention center, so on and so forth. Diane Gallagher, if I know anything about people in New Orleans or Louisiana, it is that they have persevered before under different circumstances, and certainly wishing that and hoping that they persevere even now under these very trying circumstances. Hope it doesn't get worse. You know, some hospitals are thinking about setting special policies up, allegedly, for when a patient who has COVID-19 dies but needs to be resuscitated. Well, I guess we'll go into cardiac arrest or something along those lines. We asked our chief medical correspondent, Dr. Sanjay Gupta, about it, and he says it has to do with protecting the healthcare workers and others.
There's two issues that really come up. One is that, you know, patients who have a serious coronavirus infection and are very, very sick, this idea that when doctors, nurses, these teams go to resuscitate somebody like that who may have developed a cardiac or pulmonary failure, in addition to actually trying to save the patient, are you putting those healthcare workers at increased risk? That's one of those times when the virus can really aerosolize and spread, despite the fact that even if they have personal protective equipment, which many of these healthcare workers, as you know, Robin, don't always even have access to that, what is the risk? I can tell you that it's not typically a blanket sort of thing. This is how we're going to treat all coronavirus patients who develop a cardiac or pulmonary arrest. But they are having those conversations with the families, you know, to try and determine the best path forward. And then, Robin, there's also lots of patients in the hospital for other things. And now there's healthcare teams that are going to those families, especially patients who've been in the hospital for a long time on ventilators, and trying to determine what are the next steps.
So again, Sanjay, thank you. So again, this is about when you need resuscitated. We should point out that doctors say they do not plan on overriding anybody's wishes of the patients or their families when it comes to the DNR policies, the do not resuscitate policies.
See how upset she looked? Man, she really does this whole she can tell you about the plane crash with the gleam in her eye. You know, she really does that shit good. She looked really upset at the beginning when she was like, you know, at the beginning of that story. Again, you know, you want to like these people. You want to like people. I want to like people. That's who I am. I want to like everybody. And then, you know, it's like, well, that person's trying to fuck everyone. It's like, how can you like that person? I think Craig was working on a clip or something. No one can see your head now. He was sitting there just perfect for a little bit. And then he was like, oh, I'm going to just lay over here. We went for a lovely long walk today. And there was, oh, let's see, I think this is Craig. Hello, caller.
Hey, it's Craig. So I got this clip that I saw. I don't know if we have any viewers that live down in Tulsa, but this is supposedly a very recent clip from the Tulsa airport of a bunch of the aircraft on the ground. And at first I looked at it, I'm like, oh, those are just 737 Maxes. That's bullshit. But it's not, because when you look at it, you can see the wingtips don't have the curve that points upward and downward like the 737 Maxes. So I know this is legit. Let me go and find this clip real quick. I don't want to drop something on that's wrong, so give me a second here and I'll pull it up. But yeah, it threw me off when I first saw it. Let's see if this is it here. Hang on. I can't tell. This might be sized wrong when it comes up, so if it is, I'm going to take a minute and fix it. No, so watch this. What you're going to see there is, it looks like it's a helicopter shot, and I did verify this. Sky News 6 is in Tulsa. And at first I'm looking at this, and I'm like, God, that looks like all 737 MAX planes. This has got to be old video, but look close. There's no, what do they call those things, the wing stabilizers? These are current planes. And if this is all current, which it looks like it is, effective from, now those are 737 MAX planes there, I think, because they all have that curve on the wingtip. But that's a huge amount of aircraft. The news story says there's 50 planes on the ground, and only 17 of them are the 737 Maxes, and all the rest are just American Airlines planes that are just sitting, waiting to be used because they have canceled so many flights. Now, I don't know if anybody can verify that. Do we have anybody who lives down in Tulsa or anybody else that's seen any more details on the story? Because I can't find anything with audio or narrative, but this is coming from the Tulsa News Channel 6 down there off their website. And I saw that and I was like, damn, that's crazy. So imagine what it's doing with all the other airlines.
Yeah, the airlines are pretty fucked. I'm pretty sure of that.
Anyway, this is just a really short clip here, but I wanted the rest of the viewers to see this and see what they thought of it. And again, if anybody's out in Tulsa or anywhere near an airport that has, a hub city, let us know if you've heard anything on your local news, or we can do a little investigative journalism. Maybe we'll send Steve McClanahan out there and he can we'll let him do a little tango dance with the TSA and try and get the news story for us, because you know him, he's always trying to keep a positive attitude. You know that guy, he's some people may think that he's kind of a pain in the ass, but I actually like him. I think he's a pretty funny guy. He adds some comic relief to the show, and it may look like our viewership dips, and some people have to mute him out because he's so goddamn annoying. But hey, it could be worse.
I didn't say that, Steve.
No,
so
I
just remember who's bad mouthing you, Steve. It's not me, okay?
It's the producer's desk. Yeah, he knows it. But we need to find out what happened to Great One. I hope his family didn't get sick, because we haven't heard from Great One Kid in a while. I hope he's doing okay in Chicago. I was wanting to get a report from him and see what his thoughts are, especially with the stop in the election cycle, which seems like there's no campaigning happening, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, I'll let you go, get back to the show, but I saw that clip and I thought it was not quite breaking news, but certainly newsworthy. So I'm going to bug out and go back to what I do at my desk here. So you'll hear me first, callers. I'm waiting for Chris in Olympia. I haven't heard from him or Dwayne tonight. None of the regulars. I think we got everybody hunkered down and afraid. So
it's the YouTube fucking with everybody.
And again. Pete. And where's Pete at, man? I'd like to know what's going on in Rhode Island.
Yeah.
So, all right, I'm out.
Okay, talk to you soon. This is Craig. Okay, so, and I don't know what was up with all the clips there, but Craig says that's the Tulsa airport, and if anybody's around from Tulsa and wants to share with us if they know what's going on there, it looks like it's pretty much a complete standstill. Those planes look like they were, lined up to stay for a while. Okay, so tonight on Tucker said this is completely a failure of the leadership of this country. Leadership. It's a complete failure of leadership. This is why we're having the issue that we're having with this COVID-19 at this time.
So you saw what's happening in New York. The question is, why is the outbreak so especially devastating there? New York City is the densest metro area in the country. That's the most obvious answer, probably the biggest problem. The city also has an awful lot of people traveling to and from other infected countries, and that's significant too. But it's not the whole story. As this deadly virus emerged from eastern China and began to spread inexorably across the globe, clearly headed here, leaders in New York not only failed to shield their citizens from it, they took affirmative and aggressive steps to increase the risk to their population. Why would they do that? Well, because they were worried far more about being called racist than protecting human lives. That's not an overstatement. That's not hyperbole. Watch the city's health commissioner, Cyrus Barbett, urge New Yorkers to spend as much time as possible in crowded public places. Keep in mind, this video is from February 2nd of this year. That was long after the threat from the Chinese coronavirus was obvious to anyone who was paying attention.
The risk to New Yorkers for coronavirus is low, and that our preparedness as a city is very high. There is no reason not to take the subway, not to take the bus, not to go out to your favorite restaurant, and certainly not to miss the parade next Sunday. I'm going to be there.
Take the subway, go to dinner, people cheer. They feel good about themselves. Future generations, though, are going to watch that video with their jaws open in disbelief. How could someone charged with protecting public health so recklessly endanger it? They'll watch this performance from State Senator John Liu, too. Liu suggested that people who might be concerned in any way about contracting a deadly disease, or who might be interested in where it came from, must be, and you guessed it, bigots.
But there's really no need to panic and to avoid activities that we always do as New Yorkers. We are a hardy people. As an Asian American, I've been somewhat disturbed, if not outright appalled, at some of the comments or gestures that I have seen. Diseases originate from anywhere or from particular places in the world.
In other words, as a member of a protected interest group, I'm ordering you to ignore this threat to your family on moral grounds. Go to the parade or else. That's what Liu is saying. Let's hope that in the wake of this disaster, after John Liu has lost his job and we can all think clearly again, people will stop talking this way in public for good. It was always the most brutal form of social control, masquerading as sensitivity and caring. Now we know it was infecting the public with disease. But at the time, sentiments like this were universal among big city public officials. State Senator Brian Kavanaugh, for example, decided to embark on a crusade against what he called misinformation, a euphemism, as it so often is, for accurate information. Kavanaugh encouraged people to head to Chinatown for a festival.
It's very important that we recognize that this holiday and this festival is of tremendous significance for many communities in our state. And it is very important that we ensure that we don't have misinformation. And many in the media have been covering this issue as if it's, a terrible plague that people have to avoid.
If you don't go to a crowded public place immediately, you're a racist. Look at those people telling you that, demanding that you do that, hectoring you, badgering you, exerting moral blackmail on you to expose yourself. By early March, coronavirus was clearly becoming a major problem in the United States. But for elected officials in New York, the only problem was their constituents' racist worries about staying alive. On March 2nd, this March 2nd, Mayor Bill de Blasio tweeted this, quote, "Since I'm encouraging New Yorkers to go on with your lives, plus get out on the town despite coronavirus, I thought I would offer some suggestions. Here's the first. Through Thursday, go see The Traitor. If The Wire was a true story plus set in Italy, it would be this film." That's right. Go to a movie theater immediately. You must. A week later, de Blasio was still encouraging New Yorkers to live it up and mingle in large groups. On March 11th, which keep in mind was barely 2 weeks ago, de Blasio was still insisting that, quote, if you're not sick, you should be going about your life. That very same day, the NBA announced it was suspending its whole season. Italy was already several days into a national lockdown. But the mayor of one of the world's most crowded cities was telling everyone to carry on as though the Chinese coronavirus was just a racist myth. Soon after that, people in New York inevitably started to get sick, in some cases very sick, in some cases they died. And then suddenly de Blasio was on Meet the Press shrieking that Donald Trump had abandoned the city. It was their fault, all their fault. That line almost always works, which is why de Blasio did it. The media play along and move on to the next thing, and no one remembers what actually happened. Will that happen this time? Maybe not. This time might be different. This pandemic is too horrible. Too many people are getting hurt. Nobody really liked identity politics anyway. All it did was help mediocrities like Bill de Blasio get elected to office. But it was disgusting and cruel and divisive. And now we know it can get people killed. Maybe we can stop. To respond to everything you've heard so far this hour, we're joined by New York City Councilman Eric Ulrich. Councilman, thanks so much for coming on tonight. So give us first an assessment, if you would, of how you think the New York City public health system is holding up in the face of this.
Well, Tucker, as your previous guest already mentioned, our hospital system is already at capacity. There are more than 23,000 confirmed cases of coronavirus throughout just the 5 boroughs. In Queens alone, more than 7,000 people have confirmed cases of coronavirus. So we really are the epicenter of this pandemic, and I think that it should be cause for alarm for the rest of the country. If it could happen here in New York so quickly, it could happen anywhere.
So the administration has sent, FEMA has sent, thousands of ventilators, breathing machines to New York City to respond to this, and we're getting reports that some of them, or many of them, are still in warehouses. Are you aware of that?
You know, I heard that in the media today and in other places. I was very reassured by the vice president's comments yesterday and President Trump's commitment to the city to make sure that we have the medical equipment that we need. I'm more concerned that we're going to run out of personnel. As more and more doctors and nurses and other first responders get the virus, they are then unable to help their fellow New Yorkers and people who are sick and who need the help. So I think we're going to have a shortage, not of ventilators anytime soon. I think we're going to have a shortage of medical professionals.
Finally, what do you make of the city's health commissioner, the person whose job it is to keep people from getting disease, encouraging people after coronavirus was already here to head to crowded public places?
Obviously, I was disappointed by that. It's very disturbing. The same way I was disappointed in the schools chancellor, Carranza, who urged the mayor not to close our public school system. The mayor dragged his feet. Bill de Blasio did not want to close our public school system, put countless people at risk. We just had a principal last week who succumbed to the virus. So I think a lot of people are concerned about the direction of the city and our response. We were woefully underprepared for this. And clearly, we can't make this mistake in other parts of the country.
I hope not. Councilman Ulrich, thanks so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
We just told you what's happening in New York at this hour, the outlines of it anyway, but what's happening in the rest of the country? Chief Breaking News correspondent Trace Gallagher is tracking that for us tonight. Hey, Trace.
Hey, Tucker, although we should note the U.S. has the most cases in the world, we are now 6th when it comes to death toll, which is a bold statement about our healthcare system. Meantime, here's a few snapshots around the country. California has more than 3,000 cases and 78 deaths, but the northern part of the state is getting hit much worse than Southern California. In fact, Bay Area public transportation down more than 93%. Up the West Coast in Washington state, there are 2,600 cases with 133 deaths. And now Governor Jay Inslee is saying the stay-at-home order may have to be extended there. And here's an illustration of impact. Nevada has 420 cases and 10 deaths. But longtime Las Vegas residents say they have never seen the Strip this empty. Finally, the administration is working on
I'm sorry, I cut that a little bit short. I just can't do the death tally thing, man. It's like, oh, now we have this death tally, and it's all day long. It's like, oh, now the U.S. is leading in COVID-19 cases, and you know, I guess, and it's not that I'm not trying to take it seriously, and I'm not saying, again, I don't want to spread this fear. I want you guys to be calm, and we'll get through it, like we always get through whatever it is that we have to get through, because we don't have any other choice. That's what we do, don't you know? And I don't want to lose sight of that. You know, we always get through it. We always will. It's what we do. Okay? So, that being said, I just am so... I don't want to play any more coronavirus stories. I have 2 more stories. I don't want to play any more coronavirus stories. And again, a big part of the reason why, you know, I suggest this, you know, you're not eating enough marijuana is because it really does help keep a positive attitude, you know. And I think that gets you through so much more than almost anything else. Positive attitude will get you through the shit, man.
Sometimes life can be a little overwhelming. Sometimes the weight of the world can be too much to bear. Sometimes you need to stop worrying and take a deep breath. Sometimes you need cannabis. Introducing Brightside, high-quality cannabis delivered right to your door. Brightside offers an extensive menu of strains and products to meet your needs. Choose the experience you want, and we'll send you the dankest herb, the real sticky icky, some top-shelf marijuana. If you like what we send you, keep the whole jar. We'll even include some nugs for you to blaze. As part of Discovery, you'll get to try new strains and products. Side effects may include euphoria, increased appetite, uncontrollable giggles, elevated sensitivity to musical dopeness, and reduced anxiety. Tetrahydrocannabinol may also induce feelings of existential well-being and relentless optimism. With a Brightside subscription, you can get it once a month, once a week, or whenever you want, all at a price you'll like. And yes, this is a real company.
Do you know who I am? You're the wizard.
Ask your doctor if cannabis is right for you. It probably is. Keep it Brightside.
Okay, so, and this is a new background from our buddy Sam, and he gave us like a app that makes these, you know, simple backgrounds with multicolors. Pretty cool. So we may have more of this in the future. I don't know. I think it'll work well for some of the marijuana videos I'm intending to make. I don't want to play any more coronavirus clips. I don't want to do it. I don't have to do it. I'm not going to do it. And since we don't have any callers, and I don't want to ramble on and wasting any more of your time, I just want to say thanks so much for tuning in, because it's the only thing that makes doing this worthwhile is you guys being here and being the great people that you are. So I will be back again tomorrow. Tomorrow is Friday, and Fridays are always fun. So I look forward to seeing you here tomorrow. Same fucking time, no, same fucking channel. I mean, 7 p.m. Pacific time. And we'll be here tomorrow, and I hope we see you there. Same Mox time, same Mox channel. And remember, one of these days this war is going to end. So stay cool until that day.
No matter which mouth you feed on a two-headed snake, it still shits the same turd. But lucky for you, you have Mox News. More than 10 years. More than 60,000 videos. Mox News has been filtering the nonsense and illuminating the bullshit from your mainstream media. Turn off your TV and turn on to Mox News. For over a decade, documenting the socio-political events that have etched and carved the pathways that define today's modern mess, Mox News has been providing clarity while faithfully bringing you today's relevant stories 100% commercial-free and subscription-free. And just like Lady Liberty vows to remain free. But at this time, we're asking you for your help, your patronage, and your support to keep the lights on and the videos rolling. For less than 17 cents per day, you can become a basic subscriber, knowing that your donation is truly making a difference that will help continue bringing the news stories that make a difference in your life. Turn on, tune in, and drop a couple dimes today by clicking the link below or visiting moxnews.com and show your support at any level. From a single one-time donation or dedicated monthly subscriber, do it now in less than 2 minutes. All donations are safe, securely processed, and verified using PayPal, Visa, MasterCard, American Express, or Discover Card. As always, we're sure you'll find something of interest each and every day. This holiday season, give the gift of Mox. moxnews.com.